Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recently, it came out that 2 EPA employees who came with you to Washington from Oklahoma were given significant raises over the White House's objection. When you were interviewed by Ed Henry on Fox News, you claimed to have been unaware of those raises. At the time, Ed Henry asked you whether you intentionally went around the White House or whether you simply had no idea what your staff was up to. The EPA Inspector General is looking into those raises, and last week, the IG released preliminary information showing that the forms to grant the raises were signed by your Chief of Staff, Mr. Ryan Jackson, who wrote that he was signing on your behalf. This is your opportunity to set the record straight. Did you, Administrator, authorize Mr. Jackson to sign those documents for you?
Congressman, those were delegated to Mr. Jackson, and the Inspector General did reference that in his management alert.
So
and
he did.
Recognize the authority.
You did authorize him then to sign them?
Those decisions, that decision was made by my
Yes or
staff.
no? Did you authorize him?
There are delegations giving him that authority.
So that's a yes.
The Inspector General recognized that, Congressman.
So you authorized Mr. Jackson to sign those documents for you. In internal emails, Sarah Greenwald, one of the aides who received a substantial raise, stated that you were aware of and supported the raises. Was that true?
I think with respect to the raises, what's important,
Yet was that true?
Congressman,
I have
if I may,
5 minutes, so I have to move along.
I was not aware of the amount, nor was I
Not the amount. Were you aware of the raises?
I was not aware of the amount, nor was I aware that of the bypassing or the PPO process not being respected.
Well, then I'm concerned that you have no idea of what is going on in your name at your agency, especially on an issue already under IG investigation. You've spent this week claiming to champion transparency, but on Tuesday you blocked the press from attending an event where you announced a new proposal that will severely limit the agency's use of public health studies in policy making. When internal emails came out about this new policy last week, they revealed that it had been developed entirely by political staff, seemingly without a robust outside stakeholder process. And once the press started covering those emails, they were removed from the agency's public FOIA portal. I do not know if you were personally involved in the decision to remove those emails, but it certainly was not transparent. Mr. Administrator, you like to claim that you support the rule of law and acknowledge the limits of EPA's authority. Many of our environmental statutes are clear. EPA must use the best available science as a foundation in policy making. This proposal would prevent that. Are you aware, yes or no, that Nancy Beck raised concerns that such a policy could also impact data that would be important to industry, such as confidential business information? Yes or no?
This effort,
yes or no?
This effort, Congressman, was about ensuring that as
were you aware that
the agency,
were you aware that
we
Nancy Beck raised the concerns?
Science.
Were you aware? Sir?
As I indicated, Congressman, this effort is actually a reflection
Sir, I need
of
to move on.
Congress's commitment to transparency.
I take that as a yes. To mitigate that concern, it appears that the proposal has been crafted so that you, the administrator, has the discretion to grant exemptions as you see fit, without any transparency or accountability for your decisions. For example, if EPA was assessing the safety of a chemical, you alone would have the power to selectively block public health studies that do not support your political priorities and allow ones that favor your friends in industry. Not only does this open the door to special treatment for industry over the public health, but you could also pick winners and losers amongst the industry types. Do you think it would be hypocritical to exempt industry data containing confidential business information from disclosure, but not personal health information from public health researchers? Yes or no? Would it be hypocritical?
That's a misstatement. Congressman, I believe that what needs to be clear is that what actions we took this week were to ensure that data and methodology were also available to those that they're concerned about our rulemaking.
I believe it's hypocritical. So moving on, given your track record, how can the public trust your discretion to make fair decisions when it comes to those biases?
Congressman, this was an effort to ensure transparency. Because as we do rulemaking at the agency, what is
based on your record, should the public trust your decision-making here with the hypocrisies that would exist in the system you defined?
This is actually a support of transparency for all rulemaking at the agency. This is not an individual decision that is made by the administrator. This is programmatic offices making decisions on rules that are based upon transparent science.
Sir, I think this boils down to an issue of trust. And you've developed a system where you're picking winners and losers. We pit the public against the industry, or you're picking favorites within the industry. And I think there is a hypocritical outcome to it all. And with that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.